I know, I'm tired of Fender videos too, but we're 3 videos into this topic and there's been a pretty big update. Now, I'm not going to give you the full history of this, but for context, this is relating to the Fender lawsuit that they won in March of this year, that they've since used as a springboard to send out multiple cease and desists to different guitar manufacturers and retailers demanding product recalls and destruction of guitars that Fender deemed to be a breach of their Stratocaster copyright. So this update comes in 2 parts. The first is that Fender have broken their silence and released a statement. And the second is that PRS have confirmed that they've been one of the manufacturers that received cease and desists, casting some doubt on part of Fender's statement, and I'm going to cast some doubt on another part of Fender's statement because some things just aren't lining up. Now there's 2 main parts I'm going to be looking at from Fender's statement, and they both came from Guitar World. The full article is linked in the description. In a statement obtained by Guitar World, Fender explains it's not concerned with going after all, quote, 2-horned or double cutaway, end quote, guitars, as has been speculated online. Instead, quote, the focus is on products that either closely or completely replicate the exact body design of the Stratocaster itself. According to Fender, third-party guitars, quote, may share general design elements of a similar overall layout while remaining clearly distinct, end quote. And these are not an issue. It is instead going after quote-unquote close copies that it considers direct clones. Everybody is welcome and will be able to continue making and selling double cutaway and or 2-horned electric guitars as long as they are designed sufficiently different from the Fender Stratocaster. And what's interesting here, and Guitar World rightly pointed it out, is that the language has changed somewhat. We're no longer just talking about the shape of the Stratocaster body, we're talking about the design of the Stratocaster. And it's a subtle change, but it could have big impacts, because the leaked cease and desist was very specifically about the body shape. Here's a quote from it stating that Fender had, quote, the copyright to the shape of the Stratocaster guitar body, end quote. But just keep in mind for later that this first part of Fender's statement is that they are only going after designs that closely or completely replicate Fender's Strat body design. Now this next part of Fender's statement is one that I take issue with, because it seems in an effort to walk back their aggression, they just openly lie. In a clarifying statement obtained by Guitar World, Fender says, quote, our focus has been working directly with companies to find practical paths forward. Where there is cooperation, that can include transition or phase-out periods and concessions on monetary damages. Now that bit was stated in the cease and desist. No objections there. Quote, outcomes such as inventory destruction are not something we are seeking. They are legal remedies that may be considered in situations where infringement continues without engagement towards a resolution, end quote. Inventory destruction is not something you are seeking. That's a barefaced lie. The cease and desist is abundantly clear with what it's seeking. It is a list of demands, not a list of potential legal outcomes that may arise from a court order. It's a list of demands that you agree to in undertaking the cease and desist. It's literally in the section labeled undertaking the cease and desist, which you have to sign and agree to. It's section 4 of that. It states, to recall all products as per Cipher 1 from the trade channels and to destroy the products and to provide suitable evidence about the destruction in due course. This was a very clear instruction that you had to sign and agree to. This was a part of, I think it was 6 points in undertaking the cease and desist. To now say that this is not what you're seeking when there's a legal letter demanding it, this is not true. And the destruction of guitars was obviously something that went down poorly with guitar players. So I understand wanting to walk that back, but this is asking us to believe something that just isn't true. You sent out a legal demand letter demanding the destruction of guitars. That was if you agreed to the cease and desist, it was destruction, not a legal remedy that may be pursued further. And I also think it's important to clarify here, because I've seen some people say that this is just Fender going against the Chinese copies of Strats. This cease and desist here, as well as others that I know have been sent to US guitar companies making boutique guitars. This was not sent to a clone manufacturer who's making counterfeits with Fender on the headstock. This is US-made guitars that are being asked to be destroyed. That is clearly what Fender have asked for here. Their press statement argues otherwise, but this is the actual cease and desist demanding it. Now remember that first part of Fender's statement where they said that they were only going after close or exact copies of their Fender Strat design? Well, PRS has come out with a very short statement to the Wall Street Journal and Guitar World confirming that they received a cease and desist and that they don't agree with Fender. This is from the Wall Street Journal. They say PRS Guitars, a company endorsed by the likes of John Mayer and Carlos Santana, confirmed that it is among the companies that received a letter. The company said it disagrees with Fender's assessment and declined to comment further. Now that's the extent of what PRS are willing to share. That's the only information. They've received a cease and desist and they don't agree. But you might ask, what could they have received this cease and desist for? Well, most people are guessing, and it really is a guess, the Silver Sky. It could be a lot worse. It could be all their double cuts. We don't know. But the Silver Sky is probably the most likely of the PRS guitars to be the target of Fender's cease and desist, which is the signature guitar of John Mayer, and it's kind of ironic because it's the guitar that PRS made for John when Fender wouldn't make it for him. So evidently there must be some differences there. Here's the two guitars overlaid best I could, and as you can see, the bottom part of the body is very similar. Not exact, but close. The top, however, is very different. The angles, the carve, the horns, they are simply not the same. So it begs the question, how far will this go? Fender say that it's only exact or close replications, but when the body is different, how different does it have to be? The goalposts seem to be changing. Is it the design? Is the pickguard something to factor in now because it curves with the body? We don't really know. And I wonder, is the Ibanez AZ next? That's got a pickguard and it's similar-esque to a Strat style. Is Fender going to see that differently? Is they going to see it as a close or exact replication? We don't know. Maybe they've received a cease and desist already. Either way, based off PRS's short and sweet statement that they don't agree with Fender, one could hope that they're going to contest this in every legal way possible. And if they do, and they win, they'll be the heroes of the guitar industry. But if they lose, I don't think anyone's gonna try and go up against Fender after that. And that could change the industry forever. Completely. And just before we go, I'd ask you to don your tinfoil hats for just a moment and ask, who owns Fender? It's Servco. Servco also recently, as of 2025, own Reverb, the largest music equipment selling platform. And with that acquisition of Reverb comes a lot of data. Over the years, Reverb have released just some of that data to the general public. Things like in 2022 and 2023, the PRS Silver Sky outsold the Fender Stratocaster. I wonder by how much? Well, that information isn't available to the public, but it is information that the owners of Fender have access to. I wonder if that's something that may have started this. But that's just a theory. A game theory. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you liked it, hype it if you want to, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!